Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Franchise Tag Overtime. I am Gareth Smith, and today I'm joined by DC Defenders star running back Abram Smith. How are you doing, Abram?
I'm fantastic, man. Thank you for having me, man. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much for coming back on again. We do truly appreciate your time, and it's been an interesting one since we last spoke. Yes, sadly, you did not win the XFL Championship last year, and I will not dwell on that too much. But since we last spoke, there has been mergers. Teams have come and gone. So a lot has happened. So we'll go back to that time when the merger was announced. How did you feel about this merger when you first heard about it?
When I first heard about it, I was like, all right, first off, how are we gonna make this happen? They got pretty much a whole league there. We have a whole league here. Like, what are we doing with teams? We just
Yeah.
finding with teams. So you have like what 32 teams, and if like what are we doing with here? Like, are we kind of cutting teams off? Like, what's going on? That's kind of my first initial thought was going on. And then again, I was also just like, hey, this is kind of exciting, man, because like there was times when we'd be, in a hotel or whatever, or even, just chilling, like their game would be on, and we'd be watching them play, and it's like now merging after, I guess really to me it's exciting because you get to see their talent mixed with our talent, and you kind of want to. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people want to see in a way like who's the best, and I think that that's something that the two different sides also want to see as well.
And it is going to be interesting because obviously when they announced the teams that were sticking around, because obviously there was rumours of this team going, that team going. How pleased you to see that DC, which to be fair was a automatic one because of how their fans were last season. I can't imagine there was any doubt at any point that DC weren't surviving with their press and all that, with the discussions happened. How pleased are you to see that DC retained their defenders for this season?
Man, I'm over. I guess I'm really just happy for it. Just because of the fact that it's like you have your team and you're not having to. I know a lot of guys like teams got cut out, so now they had to go into the
Mm.
draft and they're kind of waiting around to see if they're going to get selected or whatever might happen. So just having my team stay and being one of the teams that are going to stay is kind of just like already kind of like instilled just the whole. We don't have to be. I don't have to be looking for or hit or reaching
Mm.
out if it's getting calls or whatever it might be to get another opportunity. So for me overall, like I mean, I could really just say for all my team pretty much is that we're all pretty much just blessed and kind of really thankful that they took us into consideration on sticking.
And you had a championship roster last year. I know you fell just short in the final game, but all last season you were the dominant team in the XFL last year. How determined are you? Because bear in mind you kept a good core of your guys from last season. How determined are you with the rest of the squad, do you think, to make sure that this year, A, that slip up doesn't happen, you don't lose the final, but more importantly, you just win everything this year?
I mean, I think that's going to be one of the like the vital points as soon as we get into camp come February. And I think a lot of guys left like that kind of like sour taste in your mouth
Mm.
after we got the championship, because you said it best. It was you kind of just dominate the whole season, dominate the whole league, and just get to the end, and you kind of just let it slip out of your fingers. And I think a lot of our guys are kind of, when we get there, their heads are going to be set on
Mm.
that's what we want to do. We know that we're capable of doing it. And now just every game, just one game at a time, just dominate, dominate. And then when we get to that end, whenever it might be, that's another game. We got to treat like every other one and just dominate as well.
And obviously, I think it's been quite a good thing as well that you kept coach for another year. How important do you think it is for the identity of the team in DC to keep Coach Barlow for another year?
I mean, he made things go. He was one of the guys that, being a head coach, that as a head coach, he's not really like, I'm not saying he's not stern, but like, he's kind of one of those ones that he understands because, he's played ball. So he
Mm.
understands as that level and in terms of like culture, what we need in order to be successful. So having the same head coach, having the same, coaches for us, it's like nothing changed. So we all, the only thing that would really change is the mindset of what we need to do in order to finish. Like, we all know how to start. We all know how to, go about our business. It's just like towards that end, I think we all have that, and he's going to be able to voice that and show that, and then just take us from there.
And as well, obviously having him back for another season, so another year as a head coach for him. So it's going to be interesting to see how that development about his play calling happens from this year compared to last. Could you see any surprises from what he's going to do this year, or do you think he set the fundamentals last year with having a very good run dominant offense? Obviously, that favours you heavily, having a good run dominant offense. Right. Do you think that's going to be the benefit to the again in DC, or do you think there could be a few surprises up Coach Barlow's sleeve?
Man, Coach Barlow, man, he's I feel like it's going to be he's going to have some surprises here and there, but at the same time, I think we're going to kind of know what we can do. Like I said, they, beefed up the O-line, so there can be also that same, like, run dominant type of deal. And but then again, you never know, because we have some speedsters that I believe we got, picked up from on the outside. So there's really no telling what we can do, what Barlow has, what Coach Keiss may have. And it's just like, you don't really know what you're getting, But at the same time, I know that the run game's going to be there. And like you said, that suits me. Suits all the running backs, because, like, run game dominant, it's able to put film out there. And I know that's one thing that's still going to be there.
And obviously last year you had a hell of a season. You were obviously the lead running back in the XFL last year. I think you were clear by about 200 yards by the end of the season, or something ridiculous. So what is your personal ambitions for the coming season?
To be honest, personal, it's just to do it again. I just be the top, like I said, we merged, and I feel like there's some guys over there on the other side that, are really great backs, and just to do what I do, or do what I know that I can do best, and that's run the ball, and just being able just to be the top back again, and hopefully this time by a greater margin. I wanted 1,000 when I was there, and I want 1,000 now, and even though if I say I want 1,000, I can get 1,000 and want more, and the more is just a bonus. But I know for a fact that I want 1,000. But personal goal, that'd be my personal goal, is just to be the top back once again.
And obviously in the XFL last year, you were selected first overall, which is always a pressure pick to be. First guy selected no matter what sport you're playing, to be the first guy selected is always pressure. And obviously you handled that really well and dominated. How much more relaxed do you think you are about this season coming, or do you think that another season has you even more focused?
No. When it comes to the season, as much as I want to be relaxed, I can never find myself relaxing. I just always want to be better somehow, some way. And like I said, I think that's why I end up being great, like kind of the areas that I want to be, and my goals get met that I set for myself. And when it comes to like the pressure, I think I'm so good at handling it, because at the same time, like I always tell, I tell a lot of people, no pressure, no diamonds. And so if it comes down to it, I know that I'm able and capable of doing it. So why not just go out there and do it? Because the work has to get done. So why not be done by me?
And it was interesting when they announced the merger, because one thing I thought they did really well was having the XFL conference and the USFL conference, keeping those legacies of both those leagues still alive, but also because there was a natural made rivalry already in the fan bases of those leagues. If you looked at Twitter or X, I'm not calling it X, it's Twitter. Every week,
or Twitter too. So, anyways,
do you know what I mean? Like every week, you'd see USFL fans slandering the XFL, and XFL fans slandering the USFL fans, and those games, and it's just rubbish over this one. This league's so much better, and vice versa. How important do you think it was to maintain those divisions and those names, so there's a bit of that edge still between the fan bases?
Yeah, so I always think of it as like you said, it's gonna bring more eyes to the games. It's gonna bring a lot more of like, okay, fan bases. Everybody's, like kind of how it was for the XFL last year. Everybody goes crazy whenever when you're out there, you're playing. Like, you got fans, like, they're out there going crazy at you, and it's just like having that just that kind of really just that built-in rivalry now, where it's like, okay, now we're merging. I know y'all are saying this and that about y'all's league. We're saying this and that about our league. Now we're here, and it's kind of just like, for me, it's like, so here we go. Like, now all the talking's done. Now we're about to get on this field and see where it goes from there.
And it is going to be interesting to see. And it's obviously going to be interesting to see again your fan base in DC. Now, they weren't the biggest fan base in the XFL last year. I think that title safely went to those Battlehawks over in St. Louis.
Absolutely.
But I think for the loudest and most rowdy fan base, I think that title was very much given to DC and the Lemons and the Beer Snake and all the fun that went over there. How glad are you for those fans in DC that they are going to get their team back for another season?
I think they're over. I think they might be more excited than what we might be, just because of the fact that man, they're crazy. So even saying that, the Battlehawks had a good fan base, I still think ours was phenomenal. I mean, toe to toe, I still think if we had a dome the way the Battlehawks had a dome, then it'd be a lot louder at our game. But I still think that our fans, I know they're excited just for us to step in Audi Field again, and I know we're gonna see it in a packed house, and I feel like it's always gonna be a packed house because, I mean, we bring a lot of excitement to them, and then they also bring the same kind of energy to us. So it's like, you just get it kind of just rocking inside Audi Field. So that's one thing that I know that we're looking forward to, and they're looking forward to.
And obviously, I've spoken to a few players from DC last year, and like Devin Bellamy for one was one that jumped out to me when I've played in Georgia in front of like 90,000 people, but then that atmosphere in Audi Field is something quite special with how the fans are there. And he almost did like it too. He said, a soccer fan base, I'm going to say football because, I'm this side of the pond. He described it to that kind of atmosphere, the rowdiness that you expect from a different sport, in effect. How did you find like the fans there compared to what you've had previously when you played in like Baylor and other places you've been?
No, I think whenever just saying that, when I think about it, like he's not far off, man. Like I've seen videos, of just soccer games, whatever it might be, just they get crazy. And when we're out there on Audi Field, it's like that feeling. You know what I'm saying? Because at the same time, everything is going down. Like all the volume, everything, all the yelling is just going down onto the field. So it's like they're up there, you score a touchdown, you do a big hit, you look up on the field, it's like you got the Beer Snake up there, you got Lemons coming down, you got people just going absolutely nuts up there. And it's one of those things that gives you that energy. When you just look up there, you're like, man, they came out here, to see us. They're going crazy for us. So like, why can't I go crazy on this field for them? And it's just like you're just feeding off one another. So like, I think he said it best. That energy is it's just about like if you're in a soccer game.
And obviously, your fan base, out of all the stadiums, I think watching the XFL last year, yours was the one that I think that I was most wanting to go to. Like, yes, I know you had the numbers in St. Louis, like just the sheer how the atmosphere was. It looked infectious, and obviously, like any fan, I'd want to feed the snake because I'm at the game. I want
to feed the snake. I'm in the game wanting to feed. I see the snake. I'm like, I want to help out. Can we help feed the snake? And then of course, Coach Barlow's like, it's up to you. He's one of those. Like, all right. But then when you're in the game, it's like, man, I want to feed the snake. So you're not the only one.
It just looks such a good atmosphere, and it looked like the kind of thing that if you want to advertise the game to fans, going right, you want to experience an atmosphere that you're not going to traditionally get in this game. Let's get you in this stadium. You can see what true Spring League footballers fans are like. So I think the fans in DC are very much, I think that much respected, I think, for how they took to the game.
I think
It's
all the fans,
also
honestly, all the fans in the XFL, I think they're all great, man. So everywhere you
yeah,
go, it's all pretty crazy. Every like you said, the numbers in St. Louis, even when we were playing the Brahmas, it's just like,
yeah.
even they had some people there that just get absolutely just rowdy, crazy. They're in there,
Mm.
shoulder pads, got the spikes on. It's just like, I feel like it's the same. I feel like at the same time you can't get that kind of energy really anywhere. That even like I think Bellamy said it when he was at Georgia. Like it's just like the XFL's energy is a lot different than I expected for sure.
And you mentioned the Brahmas. The Ex-Bernal, I say, were a brand new team, and they didn't half embrace the league. And I was glad to see, obviously, they retain their team, and obviously they've gained a hell of a coach over in Wade Phillips as well, which a guy much respected in the NFL and the XFL.
Right.
So it's how important do you think it is for the league to retain not only the quality players, but also the top end coaches that they also had available?
I think it's a big deal. It's kind of like you're bringing. It's not like only your players are like top of the line. Top of the line people, top of the line to go out there and do it. But you have top of the line coaches too. So I think it's a big deal to kind of bring that, to let them know like, hey, if we're merging, like we're bringing everything we got, everything we can have,
Mm.
bringing that to this merge. So that way, it's like, all right, now we got you kind of have that, like you said, like that kind of like rivalry in a way. It's like, all right, you don't really see it, but like we're bringing everything we got to this merge. Let's see if y'all can, in a way, kind of like match it. That's the way I always see it. It's just like, all right, now here we are. Now it's kind of like I said earlier, it's like now we're between these hashes, like these numbers. What are we gonna do?
And the obvious question is that out of the USFL teams, is there any city you're hoping to get to go playing this year? Because I know we had Houston last year.
Mm.
It's the Roughnecks. It's the Gamblers rebranded. Best way of describing
Right.
the Roughnecks. But then you've got
Yeah,
like Birmingham,
I
you got
didn't know that, to be
Memphis.
honest with you. I didn't know that at all. I thought they were the Gamblers, and then it said they were the Roughnecks, and I'm like, so are they XFL? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do we? Well, I guess it is what it is now. But I'm like, are they one of ours?
Yeah,
Are they one of theirs? Is it, or are they just both of them together? So,
yeah,
but I guess they're the USFL. So, but they just changed their name to the Roughnecks because they liked it. I'm assuming so.
yeah. What about any of the cities like Memphis, whether that be over in Birmingham, obviously the defending champions from the USFL?
Right.
Uh, any of those cities you think you'd want to kind of go to and demonstrate your talents?
I mean, I'm just really all of them. Anywhere I can get to. It's really just a blessing to get to do what I do and be able to get to do what I do, and just being able to see different areas as I'm able to, as I'm playing the sport, and I'm just excited to go and pretty much see all of that, So I think I was out there for the can't remember if trying to think about where the Senior Bowl was at, because it was out there in Alabama too. I'm pretty sure it was out there in
Mm-hmm.
was it in Birmingham? Is it Birmingham?
Birmingham was where I don't know whether I can't remember what the Senior Bowl is because I say college sport we're only just starting to get over in the UK, which might seem odd to yourselves in the States. This is the first year we've had college bowl games available to view in the UK
Oh,
on
wow.
national telly. College sport over here, you had to usually buy ESPN player to
Yeah.
watch it, and then ESPN pulled the rights for the ESPN player worldwide. And it meant that we weren't getting any college ball, and we only just got it right towards the end of the season.
See,
Sky Sports took the rights up, and so we got a lot of the bowl games, which was good to see,
right.
including some of the more obscure bowl games that exist now. Some
I
of the
think
weird and wonderful names.
college ball, not being able to see college ball is like, I don't know, the excitement,
Mm,
just watching college ball for me is just like you get a lot of different players out there in a way, and it's just like it's exciting to watch. I don't know why, but it's exciting. It's more exciting to watch college ball for me than it is to watch like the NFL. If that makes sense. Like when
it
the
does.
college game's on, I'm like, because you never really expect, like, you don't really expect what you're gonna get. Like, I guess it's pretty much it. Like, it's always something
And
exciting. Somebody getting beat, somebody, like returning field goals back, stuff like that. It's like you just don't. It's more exciting to me. So for y'all not to be
and
able to see that, sometimes it's like, all right, man, you're missing out on some excitement.
And also for us Brits, just so we know who the hell is coming to our teams in the NFL next year. More often than not, like, don't get me wrong, with the teams like the likes of your Georgias of this world, like, people over here know of who some of those key players from some of the teams are. Like, we know, obviously, we know who Caleb Williams is. We know who, like Marvin Harrison Jr. and, like, we know who these guys are. It's more when you get past the first round where
Kind of goes blank.
the college ball knowledge starts to become a bit more obscure. But thankfully now Sky Sports have took up the mantle, and next year we are getting full college coverage. But also the odds are looking quite highly likely that the new league will also be on. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but the USFL was on Sky Sports last year. They've took up the rights that were previously on the ESPN player app. That's where the XFL was. So the odds are looking likely that this new league will end up on Sky Sports, and everyone in the UK who is into football really wants that to happen, because at the end of the day, we want to watch it.
I hope it goes exactly like that.
It'd be great, because obviously we want to be cheering on the teams over there, and obviously wishing you all the luck for the coming season. For anyone who is looking for tickets, please make sure you do head on to ufl.com/tickets. Feels odd saying it that way around this time instead of XFL. It feels really odd to say the ufl.com/tickets.
It's still weird to me too. It's still weird to me. I want to call it the XFL too.
It just feels odd still, but I'm sure at some point I'll get used to it. And obviously make sure you do cheer on Abram this season and the team. Guarantee you'll have a good time over there in DC. Thank you so much for your time today as well. Always a pleasure to get you on. And you were very much a requested guest by some of our followers at the franchise tag, so we had to get you back on.
No, thank you for having me, man. I always enjoy this all the time.
And obviously, thank you very much for everyone listening at home. We're back again with another special guest. And we are